welcome back, everyone, to the Awaken the Masses podcast. Got my partner here, Jack Duchesne, myself, Micah Watkins, and again, what this podcast is about, it's putting information out there for the people that want to wake up. So you get the information, start questioning things, start looking at things in your own life, and do you really want to be free? Really free? And what all the stuff that we're talking about. So what do we want to get into today, Jack?
Well, I think we decided let's have a conversation about how we show up.
Perfect.
So how do we show up?
Well, I'd say that is a whole range of spectrum of how people actually show up. And I know that before, in prior years in my life, and before getting into some of this work and looking at my own self, I was showing up differently.
Yeah.
And now I show up differently than what I showed up before.
Yes.
And that has changed.
And for some people it changes or evolves, or some people stay the same and show up the same all the time. And why is it even important if we show up? So a question that we'll start with is, does your life matter? Like, does my life actually matter? Does my life actually make a difference? And if it did, where would it be? Because if you've got 8 billion people on the planet and you have the idea that when you say, does my life matter or does my life make a difference, and your brain immediately goes to, well, I didn't create the computer. I'm not a movie star. I haven't made big movies. I haven't won a Nobel Peace Prize. I haven't been elected as a president of anything or anything. I haven't built Amazon. I'm not sending rockets anywhere. I'm not doing all those things. So I guess not. I guess for most of the 8 billion people, no. Their life doesn't matter. Their life doesn't make a difference. So does our life matter if we don't accomplish those type of feats? Does our life make a difference if we don't? And maybe in the showing upness of life, maybe there is something there that is making a difference. Maybe it isn't required to create something like that or to impact humanity that way, So how do we show up, and what does it mean to show up? And where are we showing up? So I would say relationship is a big one.
Oh, absolutely.
Other than that, you're just showing up to you.
Yeah.
So now, first of all, let's get clear on relationship, because I haven't found one yet. I'm looking. I'm not finding it. I haven't found one.
Okay.
I looked inside my house. I didn't find one. So I went outside. I still didn't find it. I went to Desert Ridge. It's an outside mall. I couldn't find one. I was like, wow, I'm not able to find a relationship. I looked in people's cars. I didn't see one. I did. I went downtown. I went into City Hall. I figured maybe there I could find a relationship. And I couldn't find a relationship. Nobody could hand me one. Nobody could be like, here it is. It's a relationship. I got one in my pocket. Here you go. What they showed me was couples. They showed me, well, these two people are together. And I was like, okay. Or they showed me a marriage certificate and said, well, they're married. The marriage is a relationship. Like, it's a marriage. Granted, it's not even real, like whatever. It's a made-up thing. The marriage is a made-up thing. The relationship, there's no such thing as an actual relationship. What there is, though, is you have an individual and then you have other individuals. And when we come together, there's a possibility of creating a space. So nobody's got a relationship or can point one out or say this is what it is or whatever, but a space. What if what we're attempting to describe with the word relationship is an actual space, a clearing for things to be created and to show up? somewhere they can show up in. Like, I like you can show up in that space. If there's nobody else, there's no space for I like you to show up. Or I don't like you to show up. Or I love you to show up. Or I don't love you to show up. Only if the space is there could that be there. So one of the things for the creators here, when they look to create what we call a relationship. So let's just get that clear. It's just a word to describe something. You cannot go to the store and buy a relationship or a six-pack of relationships or anything like that. Yet you can show up and create a space with another creator that we would call a relationship. So the relationship becomes a space, a clearing for things to show up in. A place for things to show up in. So one of the challenges that creators have in relationship, especially the romantic kind, is it's backwards. They're entering the relationship for what they can get from it. How they can feel. Like nobody wants money in the truest sense. Like, Micah, do you want $1 million? And then I give you a pallet of $1 bills, and there's 1 million of them on there. So you have 1 million little pieces of paper with a picture of a dead president on it. You don't want that. Who the hell wants that? It's not money anybody wants. It's what and how they believe it'll make them feel.
Correct.
Right. That's what they want, is the feeling, not the money. That would be burdensome. Mm-hmm. Load up the pallet into my truck. I'm going to Circle K. I need to pull 7 of these off so I can go get a snack and a soda. Unload the pallet from my truck. Nobody wants the money. They want what they believe the money will give them, and even in the giving of them, it always boils down to how it's going to make them feel.
Yep.
So if I go into a relationship seeking the relationship to make me feel a certain way, I'm in for a losing battle here, because I haven't went in a way that, if I go in that way and they go in that way, well, we still have the space and shit's still going to show up. But what's going to show up when two people have created a space of how that other person is going to make them feel like they're going to now be complete. Now they'll be happy. Now they'll feel loved. Now they'll do that. So that burden comes into the space and is placed on each of the other person.
Yeah.
It's your job to make me feel this way. It's your job to do this. When the evolution of the creator will come to a place where they understand, no, when I face another creator, romantic relationship, business, friendships, or whatever, but when I face another creator to create that space that we call relationship, and now that I know that the relationship is a clearing, it's a space to allow things to show up, allow things to manifest, and both parties go in with what they can contribute to the relationship. So they have the conversation. What are we looking to create? What do we want to show up in the space that we are in now? So let's just say every time two creators get together, 2 or more creators, it immediately creates an empty clearing or space. It's endless possibility at that point. Yet if we both go in, or if everyone goes in with how this is going to, what do I get from this? How is this going to make me feel? Well, then everyone's going to create a space of disappointment, sadness, frustration, irritation, arguments, chaos, because that attitude going in creates that in the space. Yet if the two people go in and say, okay, we are two creators, because we're agreeing to come together in whatever fashion, romantic, business, friendship, whatever, we can do this by default and unconsciously, which we've all been taught to. It's all, well, I'm getting married because now I'm complete, or I feel I'll be loved, or whatever. When they come and they understand this, they would come together and go, okay, well, we're the creators. So what do we want to create? Now, how many times in your life and in most people's lives, meeting somebody, does this discussion happen at the beginning?
Never. Never happens.
Never happens. So if I have the discussion and say, okay, so what do we want to create? And, I think a lot of the answers are going to be, well, we want to create love. We want to create compassion and acceptance and honesty and clarity and unity. And so these are things that they would want to create. Most people would. And you say, okay, well, now that I know that and you know that, then I guess all I need to do is give that.
Mm-hmm.
All I need to do is contribute to that creation. And if I do that and you do that, well, then that's what's going to show up in the space. But that would be on purpose. That would be very purposeful when you came in like that, to do that, to be able to come and approach it that way. That, okay, if we're going to create love in harmony and longevity and beautiful experiences and great memories and all of that, then now I have my direction. Now I have my target. Now I understand. So now I look to myself and say, okay, how do I have to show up to create what we just stated as creators we're going to create? What do I need to do? What do I need to contribute? What do I need to put into this?
Absolutely.
This removes self-centeredness and selfishness. Otherwise, each person is looking at the other one to give me what I'm looking to feel.
Oh yeah, that's exactly what's happening.
Yes.
So, I've done some work with, counselors and marriage counselors and all that stuff. And one of the things that stood out to me was, when you start talking about the love languages, right? Mm-hmm. And then you look at what people are doing within the relationship with their love languages. It's like, well, if my love language is physical touch, then, we're just acting out the physical touch. Or if the other is acts of service or affirmations or something, then you always find that person acting out what their love language is, right?
Yes.
Because that's what that's what they're seeking. So it's what we're talking about here is understanding that how we've got to show up is, if my partner's love language is affirmations, well, then that's what I've got to show up giving.
Yes.
To that person, so that they can now have the feelings that are created for that relationship and that space. But that's on us to show up that way.
That would be a part of it. In an idea, ultimate high consciousness creator would not need anything to feel love. Because the bottom line is this. If we have feelings, but most people don't have feelings. Feelings have them. And most people don't have thinking. Thinking has them. See, we're talking about a complete 180. So let's say you did decide part of what we're creating is love, then that is powerful to have that reality that, let's just say, based on my programming, the way I was programmed, what I saw in my family or whatnot, I feel love or appreciated by acts of service. And then I say acts of service. Well, that doesn't really matter to me. I feel more appreciated or loved with encouraging words, some praise here and there and all that. So this is much better to go in this way than to just default to shit, even though you're still chasing outside yourself to pull something in that you already have. It's already there for you. The programs and the beliefs are blocking the fact that you already have all of it, and so do they.
Yeah.
Yet, not everybody's walking across water. Not everybody's floating. So yes, in that case, then the understanding of each other, what makes you feel loved and all of that, could definitely fall into play if one of the things you had agreed to create in that space was love and feeling loved. If that was one of the things, then that's powerful, because then it becomes a tool to do that.
Absolutely. Well, when we start looking at this, the easiest one to kind of look at is, the relationship between spouses.
Yeah.
Right? That's easy to go that way. But you even look at friendships. Mm-hmm. How many friendships are lost over that friend wasn't giving me what I was looking for.
Oh yeah, you didn't have my back?
Yeah.
Look, I don't know. You're still friends with her? I hate her because she said this behind my back. My friend told me she did this, and now I feel betrayed. I feel this. I feel it. So yeah, it's across the board. Look at the gentleman in ABLS, what we call our level 1. It's a full weekend seminar thing. And he described his business partners.
Mm-hmm.
I think the word was bicker. And they do it every time we get on a call, business call. And because he's done the work, he's by far the youngest of the crew, is the one who's helping to direct the other defaulted sound asleep people to quit doing that and get productive again.
Yeah.
So it can be business partners, it can be friendships, it can be romantic relationships. So then I say to myself, okay, so we can have that discussion in a romantic relationship of what we want and what we're looking to create, not what I want. This is where relationships, because it's always me. You make me feel this way. I want to feel this way. You're not doing it. I don't know. It is a victim mentality. It is full victim. There is a lot of selfishness to it and self-righteousness to it, and it doesn't contribute to anything except your ego. It doesn't contribute to the ultimate what could have been created.
Yeah.
So then you say, all right, so in the showing upness of how I show up, and you think about the cycle of destruction and resentment and, when you resent people and you break down and you're angry and you're hollering and we talk about this in the work, you're threatening and you're this and you're flailing and screaming and breaking things, maybe even being violent or whatever. And when we go through all that and you ask, okay, where does this usually show up in your life? It's usually with the people you love, the people you're in relationship with. It rarely shows up on the street out of nowhere. It does. It's always entertaining when that happens. See two people start fighting and arguing somewhere. Yet, no, normally this is with your kids doing it to the parent, the husband's doing it to the wife's doing it to the husband, business partners are doing it, friends do it, and all of that. And the problem is they don't understand. Here's the gig. You are the creator, and this is your movie. This is your gig. And why do we say that? Because usually you get resistance. People are like, that's not true. It's not all about me. It's about my kids. It's my job, my charity that I give time to the charity. It's not about me. I give time to my charity. It's all my. No, the reason the show is yours, the reason you're the star of the movie is because you're the only one who is with you from the moment you are aware to the moment you take that last breath. You are the only one that is there consistently from start to finish. You never go away. Well, yeah, I do when I go to sleep. Nope, you dream. You are still there. You're still the only one. Now, you can get married at 18 and live with her or him all the way till you're 80 and leave. And that entire time that you are doing this, they are not with you at that degree.
Yep.
Never. There's always going to be, I mean, you don't take them to the bathroom with you. There's just, you take separate trips here and there. They go off. You go to work. She goes to work. You don't escape. You are with you all the time. So it has to be your show. You have to be the main thing in the show.
Yeah.
And then you're going to have co-stars. And the co-stars are the people like your children and your spouse. If it was a business partner, that could be a co-star. And those can change, just like a TV show, like 2.5 Men. It was like Charlie Sheen is the star. And then Charlie Sheen went another way. and then who came in?
Ashton Kutcher. Yeah.
He comes in. At that moment that he comes in, I'm like, you know who the star of this whole show has been and is now? It's John Cryer. He's the only consistent who isn't moving and changing. He's staying in the whole time. He's been there from the very beginning to the very end. So when you have your life, you are the star of your movie, and we all are. So you're not the star of other people's movies. They're the star of their movie. Like I am the star of my movie, this guy is a co-star, and vice versa.
Yep.
So you have your co-stars, and they're usually going to be children or spouses, people that you see weekly. And then you're going to have your, I'm sure in film and television they have a word for it.
The cameo.
The cameo people.
Yeah.
Like on Seinfeld, you have your Newmans and the Soup Nazi and in Banyan. And, you have these like people that they frequent around, but they're not there as much as the co-stars. They don't live with you, all that kind of stuff. And then after that, you have the background players. So if you ever watch a TV show or a movie where the main characters are eating in a restaurant or diner, you'll notice there's a bunch of people around them that look like they're eating and look like they're talking, and waiters are walking around and dropping off plates and picking up plates, and a busboy walks by. This is all staged. These people aren't doing any of these things. However, you have about 8 billion of those going on. Some of them you see, some of them you never see. You usually don't pay attention to any of them. So if you go sit in a restaurant and you are with one of your co-stars eating, there are a whole bunch of these background players around you that you don't really pay attention to, unless if they do something fun, like start a fight with each other or something. Then you're like, oh, hey, and then you pop in their little movie for a second and enjoy yourself and leave. So if that's the case, then I would imagine or hallucinate that the way you show up to your co-stars would be important. Like really important. Like super important. So I'll give you an example. There's somebody that I've done some work with that, and a lot of people have this. They have their family. Now, your family in the beginning is your co-stars, big time. For a child, like I got Boo 1 and Boo 2. And, Boo 2 is only 4 right now. And Boo 2 spends 95% of her time with her parents like most children do. I mean, once in a while, maybe we watch her or someone watches her for a couple hours or something. But no, for Boo 1 or Boo 2, she's the star, and mom and dad are major co-stars.
Oh, yeah.
And Boo 1, her sister, is a major co-star. And they will be until she leaves home. Now, once she leaves home, they fall out of the picture a bit. They're not there 95% of the time. If she leaves home and maybe goes to college, and now she only comes home for Thanksgiving and a break and a this. So now she only actually sees him 3 or 4 times a year. And then she gets married, and now she's got a couple kids of her own. So now these mom and dad star or co-stars have vanished into more of a, you see them once in a while. And not everybody. Some people, their parents live down the street or whatnot. You might see them a lot more than that.
Yep.
But for a lot of people, no. That's going to switch. Yet, a lot of people, even though they don't see their family a lot, they are still under the wanting the approval of their family or caring what their family thinks about them. This is why, you know, when we would get taken, you know, like when I turned 10 years old, our whole world turned upside down. Up until then, I had cousins. I had aunts and uncles. My grandparents, I only met one set for 1 hour, so I didn't have those. But I had cousins. We went there at Christmas. We brought them. I remember one time my mom had brought them, my cousins, Christmas presents and they were clothes, you know, like pants and a shirt or something or a sweater. And they were disappointed. And what they had bought us were, you know, like $2 little, like a Hot Wheel car or something. And I remember my mom bitching about that on the way home. How ungrateful. You know, I spent like, you know, $5 on each one of their kids and they give us this little 59-cent toy or something. And I remember her bitching about it. So I don't remember these people. I don't know their names. I don't know the aunts and uncles' names. And so it goes back to the approval. It goes back to caring what they think. Because when we would go over there, we had to behave a certain way. We had to be dressed a certain way. We had to talk a certain way. You didn't want to embarrass mom. You know, I don't know if my dad gave a shit. But my mom, you didn't want to embarrass her. Don't interrupt her if she was speaking. Well, I did that once when I was 6 or 7. I got a backhand and ended up on the ground. Very humiliated because my cousins and everybody are standing there and I'm laying on the ground crying with the backhand because I interrupted her. So you get this. Now you think about it and it's like, but we only see these people once a year, maybe twice. And all of this anxiety and stress happens about going to see them. But we're together all the time and don't seem to give a shit about that. Like, yeah. So the distinction I want to make here is her children, the family, these are the stars and co-stars. You're seeing them every day. Yet you're so concerned about what these other people are going to think that it's almost neurotic. And you care what they think. And we talked about this the other day. You know what they're thinking? Horrible things, terrible things, or good things. Who gives a shit, right? You would imagine that it would be way, way more important how you're showing up to the ones you're seeing every day, every week. It would be way more important how you show up there. But then how do we show up? Jealous, insecure, demanding, petty. Yeah. We show up that way to the people we're going to see every day, or at least every week. We will show up that way, no problem. Now, here's the challenge with that. Your brain is a manipulating computer. And you may think you can manipulate them with your bullshit and your excuses of the way you show up, but you cannot control their thinking.
Nope. I've tried on my wife. It doesn't work.
No. You cannot control their thinking. So you can show up as an asshole, as a bitch, jealous. And see, now, before I did all this self-development and awareness work, I was an extremely insecure, jealous person because I was raised in addiction and sociopathic behaviors and things like that. So I was also sociopathic. So when I'm with these girls, when I'm younger, I'm in my 20s, I'm in my 30s, when I'm in a relationship with a woman, I am jealous and insecure, but I never admit to this because I'm narcissistic, sort of. What I do is when I get jealous and insecure, instead of actually saying it, like, I'll just be honest with you, I have a tough time handling this based on my I didn't know this shit. I could have said it. The way I was programmed, the way I was brought out, I don't know. I mean, I don't know why I feel this way, but I feel very insecure and jealous when you dress that way. And you got your hoo-haws sticking out a bit, or your booty or your skirt's real short. And I wasn't able to say it because I understood deep down inside it wasn't what I was feeling wasn't like what you're supposed to feel, because I had other friends. They'd have a hot girl they'd be prancing them around with their hoo-haws hanging out and a short skirt, like, ah, ha, 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 right? So I was always like, well, that's weird, because I'm the opposite. Like, I want them dressed more in that Middle Eastern look with the
with the burqa.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you just have the smallest of slits for eyes.
Now, wait. I don't like the eye thing, because a lot of women have very beautiful eyes. So you wear that uniform, but they put some sunglasses on. I don't even want. So yeah, and I'm like, I knew it was weird, because I would always look at these other guys and I'd be like, but he's fine with her dressed that way and walking around like parading it and all that. But I didn't know what to say. So what I did was I turned it on them. It's not me. I'm not jealous or insecure. That's ridiculous. It's you. If you need that attention from other men, then you're with the wrong guy. Go get some other guy. Well, now the girl would respond usually with, well, I don't care about attention from other men. I'm dressing this way for you. I only want you. You're my boy. I love you. And that didn't cut it. I was like, no, I'm not buying any of that shit. So, and it wasn't just the way they dressed. They couldn't have male friends. And again, why can't I have a male friend? I could have said, well, because I'm insecure and I'm jealous. I didn't. I said, because men are pigs, and you girls say it all the time, and I am one. And I'm telling you that the only thing we want from a woman is sex, and that's it. We don't want their friendship. We don't want to sit and talk with them. We want to talk to a guy. Football, what's going on, rock and roll, music, business, whatever. We don't want to talk to girls about what? Shoes? Flowers? Whatever. It's like, no, we don't want that. So the only reason the guy's talking is to get in your pants, and that's it. So then again, turn my insecurity and jealousy onto them. And then there was the ladies' night out crap, where they go that, and then I'd get upset about that. But again, it wasn't me. It was them. And I was under the illusion, until I woke up in this work, that I had successfully done what I wanted to do, which was convince them that it was them and not me. And then when I figured all this out, I was like, oh, wait a second. You can say all the words you want, and you can manipulate with the best manipulative brain you can muster. But you can't control their thoughts. And even if they don't speak them to you, and I think back now to people like Becky and Jeanette and these different women, Emily and all of them, Angelina, all of them, like, at some point I'm thinking, you don't think for a moment when they were having drinks with their girlfriends, or maybe they were close to their mom or family member or had some friends or something, and you came up, you don't think they ever told anybody, well, I love him and everything. Man, is he jealous. Man, is he insecure. See, I thought I had it tricked, where they would be, I guess I figured if I came up, they would be like, he's just great. There's nothing else to it. I mean, there's problems in the relationship, but they're all me, and definitely not him. And now I understand it. No, the way you show up to those people. So let's get back to, does my life matter? Do I make a difference? And it is in the showing up. And no, you don't need to create the next great thing, or you don't need to be put into the spotlight and the whole world to look at you. You matter, and you make a difference in the way you show up. And then in the world, it's going to be mainly to your co-stars. It's going to be to the people closest to you. So if you're going to go see your family once or twice a year, don't be so concerned what they think. They don't fucking even know you enough now to have any real thoughts. You may have been away from your family 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20, meaning away, meaning I see him at Christmas. I see him at Thanksgiving. I see him maybe on a birthday. You know, you're talking a handful of times a year. But you're seeing your wife every day, almost. You see your husband almost all the time. You see your children until they leave almost all the time. Wouldn't it be way more important how you're showing up to them, how you make them feel? That's why the relationship I'm in now, Melinda comes from a family different than mine. Mine fell apart at 10. Hers never fell apart, and it's big. And they show up at things. Like if there's something going on, most of them show up. I mean, not everybody shows up all the time. You're out of town, you're sick, maybe you didn't want to, I don't know. But they show up a lot. So Melinda has that program and feels, and I know it's a subconscious program that she needs to show up whatever I'm doing. And there's been times when I can tell, or she'll let me know, she would prefer not to do that. Like not go there, like not go to the level 2 party, or not go to this weekend, or not go over here or over there, even to a concert. Like I had tickets to Stone Temple Pilot live concert, and this is 2 of our favorite bands, you know, and I didn't realize it, but the concert was on Monday night. So it's Monday night, and I'm fine. And she let me know about 3 hours before we were going to leave for the concert. This has been stressing me out all day, and I'm like, what's going on? She goes, I really don't want to go tonight. I have to work tomorrow. You know, and at first I attempted to dissect it a bit. Like, but we're not like 25. We're not going to the concert and then to a bar and then maybe do some blow or something and then drink our brains out. We're old. We're going to go to the concert. We're going to get out of the chair with a little bit of cricking, and then we're going to go home. And you'll be in bed by 11 o'clock, and we go to bed all the time at 11 o'clock. Didn't matter. You could see the discomfort. You could see the stress. So what I do with her is anytime that happens, because I know she has the program that she's supposed to show up with me. She's supposed to go to the level 2 party. She's supposed to go to the level 1. She's supposed to go to the concert. She's supposed to. So I told her this one day. I said, when she told me that, I said, okay, that's fine. Let me see if Dylan wants to go. That's my drummer. I love Dylan. I was like, let me see if Dylan wants to go. And he did. And even if he didn't, I was like, if I got to go alone, that's fine. The tickets were $110 or whatever each. We eat $110. It's worth it to eat the $110 and you get peace of mind. I mean, I was a little bit surprised she wasn't going to go. I mean, it's a freaking concert, right? But if that's true, and, I told her one day, I said, do you know why I do that? Do you know why I do that? I do that because I know how it makes you feel when I do that. When I tell you it's okay. When I know that other program's running in the background and it's giving you some guilt and some pressure and anxiety, I'm telling you that it's okay. You don't have to show up. Not because I don't want you there, but because I know how it's going to make you feel. And I don't have that same program because I didn't have that same programming.
Yeah.
I didn't have the family where they guilt you when you don't show up and they talk behind your back and they do all that shit. Now, I don't know for sure. I have 3 siblings. I barely ever showed up after I left home at 15. Maybe they talk all this shit about me, but I'm okay with that. I don't see them that often. The show changed at 15. I left. I didn't see these people a lot any longer. Mainly my brother Fred and my brother Dean would probably be more in. My sister Michelle, I don't see her very often. I love her dearly. Never had a problem with Michelle. I think she's a great woman, a great parent, great human being, great creator. We just don't happen to see each other that often. We just send each other a little happy birthday, sis, happy birthday, bro, love you, sis, love you, bro. They come out once in a while. And maybe they do say things. Maybe they do. I don't know. But I do know that it's way more important to me that how I'm showing up to the ones I'm seeing all the time.
Well, that's all that matters. I mean, I guess you can wander this earth and not really go into relationship with anyone at all. And you can do that.
Mm-hmm.
What's the experience going to be like? I don't know. That's up to the individual. However, most of us, we find it more pleasurable to be in relationship with others, create families, create the depth there. And a lot of what we're talking about, the work, and the seminars that we do, man, like for myself, I realized, starting this and getting down, going down the road, man, I was showing up I was showing up as a different person. I was a different person, and then I started to look at it. And all this work it's just a mirror for you. It's a mirror for the mind. And then you get to make the choice, like, well, how do I want to show up? How do I want to show up for my spouse? How do I want to show up for my kid? And all of a sudden, when you start looking at that and making the choice of like, well, not acting on default, but you're conscious of like how you're showing up, you can then start to make the changes that you want and make it deliberate. And I remember distinctly having my wife at one point, she shared with me, this was a year or so ago. She was like, you're like the best version of yourself right now.
That's beautiful.
And it took me back. It was validation of like, whoa, wow, she noticed of what I was doing for myself, on myself.
What did she notice? How you were showing up.
Exactly.
That's
because
what she
I opened
noticed.
up the space to show up for her the way that she needed me, the way that I wanted to show up for her to give her the feelings that she was looking for.
Yeah, like what I do with Melinda. Like,
Exactly.
It's okay. You don't want to go somewhere. It's okay. Like, I knew she was struggling with she'd been doing the level 1 sound for 16 years. And I knew it was, shit, I wouldn't have done it that long. I've been like, oh, dude, if I hear that story one more time, I'm going to kill you. I'll be like, I don't ever want to hear that story for the rest of my life, because she's heard it for 16 years, right, as I tell it to the next group of people. And, and I also knew it was going to be a little bit of a battle, even though I did what I always do, which is, sweetie, you don't have to show up. Don't do this to yourself. There's other people that can run the sound. There's other people around. I'm working on replacing me. I don't even want to keep doing the same thing. I want to move into some other things. So I'm like, don't worry, don't show up. And I knew because of the programming, it's still a little bit of a wrestle. Still a little bit of a wrestle for her. Especially like Sunday when we just did one this week. And on Sunday when I went to leave, you could tell she was struggling a little bit because she didn't have any plans. And, I'm off going. Now, Friday night, there's no struggle. She got off work. She's happy. She's like, good. I don't have to go. She came home. She's like, I'm going to sing and I'm going to light a fire and I'm going to watch my shows and I'm going to have some food. And she was really, because Friday night was tough. You just worked all day. Yeah. You got to go in there all the way till 10:30 at night, and then you got to drive home for 40 minutes. And so you could see the difference between the Friday night I'm not going and the Sunday. The Sunday was more of a struggle for her, and that'll go on until she releases it completely.
Yeah.
The main thing to me was I do my best to show up in such a way. Like, she'll tell me things sometimes like, wow, that really surprised me. I'm really proud of you. I'm impressed. And I'll tell her, you know why? Because of the way I showed up. That's why. Otherwise, you cannot have those thoughts.
Yeah.
That's why, in relationship, there's times when you can get, we get to the point sometimes in our relationship over 16 years where, it can get a little loud. Okay, you're losing it a bit. And the reason it doesn't happen very often for me, and I tell her this, I don't want to show up that way to you.
Yeah.
I don't want you to have those thoughts about me and those feelings about me. Now, once in a while, it's going to happen because I'm one of those people that I can just let it keep going. Like, I'm really patient and I can just, okay, it's fine. Just stuff it on down. Just, nope, it's fine. Nope. I'm one of those people that's going to go, but then at some point, there's going to be a release valve. And that'll be where, okay, whoa. Oh, okay, where I'm a little bit like, you know what, I'm fucking not doing this, and it gets there's a little bit of an attitude, a little bit of energy comes out of it. Yet I don't want that to be a normal thing. It can be a thing that, if it shows up once in a while, that's not too detrimental. If it's showing up all the time, that becomes, you can show up in such a way, this is what I meant about you can't control their thinking, their thoughts. You can show up such a way that after a while, they're like, I don't want to be here anymore. So if you, for the creators out there, there's two main places that you need to start looking at how you're showing up on a consistent basis and how you're making the other ones feel, because that is where you matter. How you make yourself feel and how you make others feel causes you to have the purpose in your life, the matter, you make a difference. And the two places to me for most people are going to be, where are you 5 days a week for most people? Work. Yeah. If you show up at work a certain way, they will do something called fire you. And if you show up another way, they will promote you. They will reward you.
Absolutely.
So I think work is a place that you want to consider, how am I showing up? If you're showing up complaining, bitching, and all these different things, then they may want to get rid of you. They may get rid of you the first chance they have. They don't want you there. You're showing up people. You'll never stop. You can justify everything you want all day long. You cannot control their thoughts. And when you're showing up in a relationship, if you show up over and over again in such a way, you can drive their thoughts to a place where they go to a lawyer and go, I'm divorcing this woman, or I'm divorcing this man. I'm not going to deal with this any longer. The way they're showing up is causing this in the space that we started with, and I'm not going to do that any longer.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's fascinating to break this down. I don't think a lot of people give it much thought. They just get into a relationship, and honestly, what are people most usually doing? Mimicking what they saw and grew up with, and
that's it.
If you had a loving couple, that you grew up around, and you're probably mimicking that.
That's why the kids are important. You're never going to get away with it with them either. You can play all your games. You can enforce your force on them. You can do whatever you want. But they're going to get old enough at some point to figure out you're full of shit.
Yeah.
You're insecure, or you're angry, or you're unsatisfied, or whatever the hell's wrong with you. But you are not going to get away with the fact that when they were 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, and you're waking up with a hangover, treating them like shit because you have a hangover, you have no idea what you're doing to that child. And the same thing when you're dealing with guiding them. Like, they are going to mimic how you guide them, and they're going to have thoughts about you based on how you guide them. So, for an example, if you want to guide your children so they'll be successful in life, so keeping their word, promises, doing what they say they're going to do and all that. Hopefully you do. Some parents pull that shit. What the great one was back when I was growing up was the cigarettes. Oh, I can't smoke them, but you can?
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck, man? Lead by example. Don't tell me they're bad for me, but you can have them. Well, I'm an adult. Oh, so I have to be 18 to kill myself, to poison myself, to do stupid things? Like, wake the fuck up.
Yeah.
Because then they figured out you're a fucking hypocrite. And that's it. And you can tell them all day long, don't you call me a hypocrite. Get in your fucking room, blah, 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 blah. You ain't stopping their thoughts. You never will. So if you were going to guide a child and you said, go clean your room, and little Sally goes down to her room and walks back in the living room a minute and a half later, all right, it's clean. Now, granted, let's put Sally at 5. They don't have a good concept of time yet or strategies. If you're smart, you go in the bedroom, get on your phone for about 15 minutes and walk out. Maybe squirt some water on your face like you sweated a little bit and come out and be like, wow, that was a bitch, but I got her done. Can I have that ice cream now? And they're like, wow, she's sweating. She's been gone 15 minutes. Yeah, go grab some ice cream. Might even pull it off. But, you're 5. So you just walk into the room. You might even just walk in and do one little walk around. You might walk back out 25 seconds later. You don't have a watch. You don't know what the hell time is. So you come back out, and now the parent, hopefully, is aware enough to realize, wait, you've been gone.
It's only been 25 seconds. Man, you're a fast cleaner.
There's no way she cleaned that freaking room.
Yeah.
So you're like, okay, Sally, let's go look at the room. You see the look on the child.
Yeah.
They might not have all concepts down, but they know, well, this shouldn't pan out well.
I don't know if this is going to, did I do a good enough job? Did I pull this one off?
So then you go down to the bedroom and you say, what? You lied. And you tell them you're a bad girl and you punish them and this and that and all that and make them clean the room and and you're angry at them. First of all, stop the fucking anger shit at your children. Just end it. Fucking stop it. At least children, seriously. Yeah. Children, 4, 5. Your fucking anger at a 3, 4, 5-year-old is only teaching them to treat people with anger. Stop doing it. Now, your 13-year-old steals your car in the middle of the night, grabs your fucking debit card, and goes and pops $100 off it, and then you find out, okay, they're 13. You can show them some anger and you can let them know this is not okay. I'm talking 4, 5. Yeah. But this 5-year-old, if you wanted to guide them, you want to create reality for them that shows them life is cause and effect.
Absolutely.
So when you say, you know what, here's what I want you to do, honey. What did I ask you? What did you ask for? I asked for ice cream. What did I tell you? Clean my room. Okay. I want you to sit in here and think about this for about 5 minutes and I'll come back in. So just think about that part, that you told me you cleaned the room and you didn't. That's lying. It's deception. It's deceit. I want you to think about it. And then 5 minutes later going, okay, sweetheart, what did you want? I wanted ice cream. What did I say? You said to clean my room. And then what'd you do? I lied about it and I didn't do it. Okay. And you're not getting any ice cream. And they go, okay. And you say, so connect the dots. You aren't getting ice cream because you didn't do what you said you would do. So you didn't get what you wanted. Now, equally, this is where the parents sometimes they fail. There's too much focus and attention on the negative behaviors, and then when they do positive, we're just fine. And I was guilty of this with my son. Like he learned, I get his attention by fucking up. Now he'll give me an hour speech. Now he'll give me all that attention. But when he's doing good, it's quick. Oh, that was good. That was nice. Because it's not bothering me. I don't have to go deal with your school. I don't have to go do. So equally, if she said, I'd like some ice cream, and you said, okay, honey, go clean your room and I'll give you ice cream. And they go down there for, 8 or 10 minutes. And, if they're 4 or 5, the best they can. You don't need to be a
tyrant about it.
Yeah, like there's dust right here on the fucking baseboard.
Hold on, let me call in Mr. Clean.
Yeah, like, okay, if they gave an effort, then you would go through the same process. You would give them the ice cream and you'd say, listen, I want to talk to you for a minute, honey. What did you want? And you don't even give them the ice cream yet. You go, okay. You look through the room and you sit down and you say, okay, honey, you came out a few minutes ago and you asked for what? Ice cream. And what did I say? You said to clean my room. And then what did you do? I cleaned my room. Right. Let's go get the ice cream. And then you make the correlation and connect the dots for them. Now, see what happened. You wanted something. You made an agreement to do something and you would get it. You did what you said you would do, and what do you have? And they go, ice cream. And now you have taught.
You've taught them.
No anger, no bullshit, no screaming, no massive punishments, nothing. Teach them. They're very young.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What works and what doesn't work.
What works and what doesn't work. Get rid of right and wrong, good, bad, all that duality bullshit, and boil your life and your children's life down and teach them what works and what doesn't work. And that's all that really matters. The rest of it is all abstract, and it changes from mind to mind, person to person. What's right and what's wrong it just depends who you're talking about.
Absolutely.
Like murder's wrong. Murder's wrong. Unless... Like it's wrong unless this. So it just depends on who you're talking about. But what works and what doesn't work is just, I don't know, what did you want? What did you do? And what did you get? Well, that worked.
Yeah.
Or that didn't work. Yeah.
Well, all we're left with is the result in anything that we do.
Life based on results. Often harsh, but always fair.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Well, so, I mean, and that applies to the relationships that we go into.
Yes. Yeah, what works and what doesn't work.
Yeah.
Yet, ultimately, if it's two people in a relationship, I think that the understanding that there's really no such thing as a relationship, it's a word to describe a space that gets created when two minds come together. And if you'll do it consciously, you have much, much, much better chance of success and things working out than to go in and ignore what that part of it is and then just go on default because we're just based on life and the way it all goes, it becomes more of a selfish thing. Like I'm in a relationship to get feelings. I want to feel this way. I want to feel, and then they put it on you to do that.
Yeah.
And if you don't pull that off, then they're irritated at you. They're aggravated at you. They're mad at you. They blame you. Well, then that's what showed up in that space, but you were unconscious. You didn't realize there was a space. You didn't realize something was going to be created. You were under the illusion. You're blinded in default. So from now on, take that approach. Same thing. We're going to have our meeting on Monday. That Monday we do, that's a lot of it. It's looking at next year, what we're going to create. We, as three partners, we have a full empty space. 2025 is going to be completely different than the last 5 years. We just went through an absolute fucking mind-fucking bullshit thing for 5 years. We've been reeking in this shit. And now what just happened last month opened everything back up to a whole different world unfolding, and we're part of that unfolding. So I'm like, let's get together and understand that that space is open for us now.
Yeah.
We are now to fill that space and allow things to show up in 225 that I've been patiently waiting for. Because I'm aware, so I knew. Last couple of years, I already knew you can only do so much. You can only go so far when things are going the way they're going in the industry we're in. Now, we're in a different industry. That would be different. I mean, you may have been able to do fine during that. Where Melinda works, Metro, they did fine during all of that.
Yeah.
But when you're talking about networking and large groups of people, well, we were shut down for almost 2 of the years. They had everybody afraid and wearing masks and afraid to do things. And we came out of that right into an absolute worst economy, way worse than 2008. Way worse than 2008. Prices didn't double. It was just houses crashed. The price of the house stopped being ridiculous and went back to normal. And it caused some trouble in that industry. And they suffered. Mm-hmm. But it didn't, my rent didn't double. My power bill didn't double. My food cost didn't double. None of those things doubled. This last 2 years, they kept doubling, kept increasing. And people got more afraid and more hesitant and more afraid. And so I knew the whole time we're not out of the storm because they said take off the mask.
Yeah.
We're still in the storm. Hold tight. Ship is still moving towards the direction, but we're in a fucking hurricane. Hold tight. We just got out of the hurricane. It's like we're wide open now.
Yep.
It's time to go.
Awesome. Well, hope you enjoyed the information. You know where to find us. And yeah, until next time. Awesome.
Later.
Peace.